Hi, I'm Scott Doonbeer from Act 4 Publishing.
And I'm Kevin Gardner of 12 Gauge Comics. We're here to tell you about our Kickstarter campaign for Jason Pearson's Body Bags Artist Edition. As many of you know, Jason passed away in December of 2022. He was a dear friend of mine, and in my opinion, one of the most talented comic book creators to ever work in this industry. His work for Marvel and DC on books like X-Men, Deadpool, Spider-Man, Batman, Harley Quinn, and so many others was well regarded. But no matter what he did, it always came back around to body bags, his wildly controversial and wildly successful creator-owned series that debuted in 1996. And all these years later, we're still talking about it. Now let me hand it over to Scott, who is the Eisner Award-winning creator of the Artist Edition format. He'll tell you a little bit about that and why he wants to do this book.
Jason Pearson was someone that I worked with over the years when I was the editor-in-chief at Wildstorm. He was a friend of mine. He remained a friend throughout his life. Incredibly talented guy. I wanted to do something that would solidify his legacy, and I thought the best way I could do that was to put together an artist edition. It takes original comic art and prints it in a format that is as close as possible to what the original art looks like. So you're talking about a book that is printed the same size. This book will be 12 by 17 inches, and it will be scanned in color so you can actually see all the little nuances that make original art unique. Everything as close as possible to the actual intent of the artist. And that's our tribute to Jason.
On top of the Artist Edition hardcover, we have two other books we'll be offering in this campaign. Both are 64 pages in length. Both are 8-inch by 12-inch in size and perfect bound. Really nice presentation. The first is called Locked and Loaded, and it is a Jason Pearson sketchbook. It's a convention-style book that has all of his private commission artwork that most people have never seen. The other is called the Artist Edition Plus book, and we're doing that because Jason never sold a single page of his body bags work. That's from the sequential pages, but also the character designs, early concept art, all the way through the final pages he was working on before he passed away.
If you back the book and you get the two ancillary books, you'll be receiving more than 300 images by Jason Pearson that have never been printed in this format. So this is an incredible opportunity. If you're a fan of Jason's, this is a great project.
We've also got some add-ons as part of our campaign, like trading cards and print sets and some really great looking stuff. And I also want to say, if you back Jason's campaign in 2015, we have a very special offer for you too. So please go check out our campaign page. Thank you so much for listening to the video, and thank you for your support. Body bags.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. There's a lot of happiness going around. I think I know why. It's because it's Wednesday. New comic book day, people. Nothing can stop comics. Not even an election. This is a post-election My Wednesday Comics. I should have put that in the title. Not that they're related, but if there was an election that slowed down new comics from coming out on Wednesday, I think I'd be a lot faster to the polls than normal. So good thing comics came. Everything seemed normal as far as I could tell. And we are here now. A lot to get through today. And so glad to see all of you here. I know a lot of you, if not all of you, were with me yesterday as we were streaming that Mobius page, doing the master study on that Mobius page during all the election hullabaloo. And I'm so glad I did that because, one, I got a lot of work done. As you guys saw, I finished that second panel, and I did a few little touch-ups after stream was over, but finished that second panel. So I'm very excited about that. Really happy of how that one's turning out. It's totally, I expected it, but just kind of seeing it, walking through the steps of finishing the artwork for that second panel and seeing it done with all the like black spotted in and all that has made me really, really excited to get to the rest of that page. And I start with a 1? I said 1 and 2. Oh, it just kept my mind occupied and let me relax with all the with all the election stuff going on. And I turned on the news afterwards, after we were done with the stream, after I ate dinner, and I was just like, oh, okay. It was not what I was expecting. And yeah, that was not how I thought the night would go, as far as not just the results, but I think just the battle for the votes. I didn't think it would go the way that it did. So pleasantly surprised of that I was surprised. And regardless of which way you fall in the political spectrum, it was just not what I thought would happen yesterday evening. So it was a weird night, but I'm really glad that I got to get some drawing in, and a lot of drawing in. That stream was not supposed to go as long as it did. I actually missed dinner, ended up eating dinner by myself. And my wife was like, what happened? I told you we were about to eat dinner in 5 minutes. And I was like, sorry, I was drawing Mobius heads. So anyway, but today is New Wednesday, My Wednesday Comics, new comics today. I've got a few things to get through. Let me say hey to the chat first so that I don't get too far behind. Awesome One, what's up, dude? Awesome One.
Yes, that's awesome.
Awesome One seems pretty excited by today. I think it's all the comics. Just a hunch. Has nothing to do with anything else going on in the world. It's got to be the comics. Comrade Sammy's feeling great today. Again, I think it's because there's new comics. I think that's the reason. And Mark's Music Session also here. Things going good for that man. I think it's because he heard I'm going to do some back issues today. So you guys are so tuned into comics, and I love how it just feeds your souls and helps you to focus and not be aware of anything else going on in this world. Mark's Music Obsession said all is well. I just love seeing you guys are here. I know many people are probably glued to YouTube, internet, TV, just to hear all the pundits chatter about that's almost as interesting or stressful to hear everybody kind of speculating and ruminating and pointing fingers and just kind of dissecting what happened yesterday. I think that's part of the appeal of politics a little bit, but it's always interesting just to hear the shoulda, coulda, wouldas from everybody. And the sun rose today, put my pants on one leg at a time, and I'm still here. I got to the comic book store, still here. Comrade Sammy's feeling good. She said she likes winning. There you go. Who doesn't like winning? Let's go. Happy indeed. Awesome One's giving me this guy. Is there a name for this guy, Awesome One? Is this the Awesome One guy? I see him a lot. He's all over the place. Mark's Music Obsession has given us some photos. Oh my gosh. Can I click on that? What does that look? What is that? Oh, Mark's Music Obsession. If you click on that link, that's the photo of the finished puzzle from Michael Bancroft's campaign. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, he shared that on X a few days ago. But that is the finished puzzle. It's a 500-piece puzzle. And who would ever thought that Shanth's art would be on a puzzle like that? But it's almost perfect, I think, for a puzzle when you think about it. And I can see that being a pretty difficult puzzle to do, but also a fun one. So I hope your mom had a good time doing it. I'm sure she was asking a million of questions what the image was about. I don't even know how you explain that to your mom. But that's great. Thanks for sharing that. Mark's Music Obsession was awake until 2:45. Let's see. Yeah, I was up pretty late. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Awesome One was up till 4 a.m. Back issues, Spring Ball number 2. We've got lots of stuff. And so I think I mentioned yesterday that I have an unboxing to do, which is great. Literally like 5 minutes before I hit the schedule to go on this stream, my doorbell rang and another box came in. And so I'm actually really excited about this second box. I'm excited about the first box, but second box came a lot faster, if I think I know what it is. So we got 2 unboxings, and then we got a whole stack of stuff. We've got comics that we didn't go over from previous weeks. We've got the comics I picked up this week, and which I only picked up one new one this week. And the tons of back issues that I picked up over the weekend. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to get through. But as Comrade Sammy was saying earlier, what did you say? She needs a stream to take out all her energy on. So that's what we're going to provide. We are going to give you guys a lot of books to look at, a huge range, and a lot of good stuff, especially with this unboxing and the back issue stuff. It's going to be super exciting. Mark's Music Obsession says she loved it. She saw him painting it. Oh, that must be awesome. That must be really cool to kind of... That's the cool thing about creating art live and then having you guys be able to hold it in your hands. Like, I know when I create art and I look back at particular pieces that I've drawn, I have this it's like this visceral memory of like, oh yeah, when I was drawing that nose, I remember I was talking about this or this, or I was listening to this song or stuff like that. So it's kind of like a snapshot of all the time and the effort and the conversation that happened when you create the art. So it's pretty cool. I'm sure you remember certain parts of the stream when you saw Shanth painting a particular piece, and there it is on a puzzle right in front of you for you to assemble. So that's amazing. That's really great for your mom to experience that as well. Move it. All right, let's get going. Let's stop beating around the bush because we got a lot to get through. All right, here we go. This is the first one. I showed this box. Didn't open it, but I showed this box the first... not the first, the last stream. Last stream? I don't remember. I'm actually a little tired because I did go to sleep late last night. But I took a nice walk this morning, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day today. There's nothing on fire. Oh my gosh, how am I going to get this open? This is a conundrum. Try the other side. Yeah, nothing was on fire. There's no flames or turned over cars. It's just a beautiful, quiet day. Okay, I'll go this side. When people pack things and they tape it into the box. All right. Goodness gracious. Oh. That's cool. All right, you guys get a hint of what this could be. This is Sean Gordon Murphy's Zorro. Sean Gordon Murphy did an amazing run on Batman. Kind of created his own universe. I didn't fully read that series. Batman White Knight. I think I have that graphic novel. But I actually remember Sean Gordon Murphy. The first time I was exposed to his work is he was on a Star Trek The Next Generation comic. I don't know, it was crazy. I was like, who is this guy? I didn't know of him at all. But the amazing thing about it is like he had such a stylized drawing sense, but he was able to capture likenesses very well. So like the Star Trek, characters really well. And I was like, wow, this guy's good. Why isn't he on a regular book? And then was quiet for a little bit. And next thing I know, he was kind of doing his own Batman White Knight. But this is from a Kickstarter campaign that he launched. So this campaign was a little confusing to me because sorry, I'm wrestling with this packaging. It was a little confusing to me because he started the campaign on Kickstarter and had all these Kickstarter exclusives, but then before I knew it, issues of this story, Zorro, Man of the Dead, were being released into comic book stores too. So it was like, wait, I thought I paid for this in Kickstarter. How come this is in comic book stores? So I wasn't 100% sure. They were kind of doing this double tier thing where they were releasing it both in crowdfunding and in the stores. And Sean Gordon Murphy has such a huge pull because he's a crazy good artist and creator. He's got such a crazy pull that he could do that, like popular enough to be both in the stores and crowdfunding. I don't know. It's really confusing, to be honest. Let me just make sure. I'm all discombobulated. Let me just make sure this is focused. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Okay, let me go get his Batman book. If you guys are familiar with his work first. So he kind of reinvented his own take on Batman White Knight, and then he did like Harley and Batman Beyond, I want to say. He did all sorts of different things. White Knight. This was under the Black Label imprint. But just a great, really, really good artist. I don't even know how to describe his art style. He seems to draw really fast. He did another book called Punk Rock Jesus, which I never read. Oh man, he's done a few independent books, and he was doing this Batman. He just works very fast. But he's got a great style. There's this Harley Quinn. Mr. Freeze. Joker. Look at the Rogues Gallery here. Awesome stuff. So yeah, this was a whole series that he did, White Knight, and it just kept spinning off to more and more stuff. Hello. And just got super popular. There's been plenty of interviews online with him too. So then I don't know why he chose to do... I don't have that much backstory on this, unfortunately, but he chose to do Zorro. His own version of Zorro. It's great. So this comic was the one that was this. I think it was like I don't know how many issues this series was. I didn't pick it up because I knew I was backing the campaign. But it had to be at least 6 issues. But he has awesome likenesses. Draws great cars. Great. He just can draw everything. And I believe he does work traditionally too, because I've seen a lot of his like originals. This is cool. Zorro is such a cool character. Yeah, these were all the different covers. Got a lot of rock stars. Ah, Plot Holes. That was another book he worked on. Plot Holes, Punk Rock Jesus, and dang it, there was another one. Okay, so I guess they just included this comic. I can't remember was the campaign. This is a nice print. Really nice print. And this is what... So in the campaign, you could back all sorts of stuff. You could back an artist edition. You could back a graphic novel, signature edition, print, Zorro comic. And then this is why I backed the book. Like, I could have just spent the normal amount of money for the book. Like, why crowdfund? So that was the whole confusion. That's why I'm kind of stumbling over my words a little bit, because it was a little confusing of like, well, why would you back this if you can just get it at the store? Like, what's the point of the crowdfunding? And it's because he released stuff like this. So this I believe is only exclusive to the Kickstarter. And this is called the Masterclass Edition. And I'll show you guys once I open it what makes this different. I could have gotten a whole black and white artist edition of the whole series, but it was really expensive. But this Masterclass Edition was something that totally intrigued me to see. It's nice little cloth bound cover here. Hardbound. It's like embossed. This gold embossed. I don't know if you can see it. It's like it's kind of imprinted in the cover. Really nice production. Katie's here. What's up, Katie?
Say cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
No, a cup of tea.
Katie, I wonder did you wish that you were here during the election? That would have been a weird, kind of unique time to be here. You just missed it, but I'm sure you've been keeping tabs on all the news that's been going on. The world is watching. I was watching mostly last night. I was watching BBC on the election. Comment, Sammy is just super happy. Someone is super happy. Celebratory brownies were great, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering. I was wondering, and my pie was great too, so we all got our sugar fix last night. Okay, so this is the Masterclass Edition, produced by Massive Publishing. And so what makes this Masterclass Edition? What's the big deal? Well, they printed it bigger. Printed that first issue that I just flipped through bigger. Oh. They have a table of contents. It's a bad thing when you don't remember why you bought a certain book. I mean, this is great. I just don't remember what made it a Masterclass Edition. So Chapter 1, Chapter 2. This is why I didn't get the black and white version. Because this version is already a compilation of all the chapters. Chapter 3. This is great. This is I think this is 11 by 17. Oop. 14. Yeah, this is 11 by 14. Great size. Sorry for the glare. So chapter 3, chapter 4. How many chapters is this book? Chapter 4. All right, so basically it's the whole kit and caboodle put together. Okay, this is the... Oh, okay, getting to it now. It's a 4-chapter book. I should have researched this a little better before. Okay, so after that, they compiled the whole thing, all 4 chapters. This is why, now it's coming back to me. This is why I didn't buy it at the store, because it's all included, large size, 11 by 14 here, the whole thing, fully colored, everything. Now we're getting into a cover gallery. This is Sean Gordon Murphy cover gallery. I believe this was broken up over 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe the 4 books. That would make sense. And this is all like put together in one picture. This is a cover by Lee Bermejo, comic book artist. Matteo Scalera, great comic book artist. Michael Calero, another good. He's got some heavy hitters here. Dustin Nguyen, Raphael Albuquerque. So it's this whole cover gallery. Dyke Ruin, Humberto Ramos, Sean. Okay, this is Sean Gordon Murphy's cover. Like an alternate variant cover. This is the cover of the book over here. Dan Brereton. Yeah, he's got some heavy hitters doing covers for him. Joe Quesada. I'm going to look at a back issue by Joe Quesada in a little bit. Walt Simonson, classic. I've gone over the like Terminator RoboCop. That was Walt Simonson. Another Matteo Scalera. He's an incredible artist. He does a podcast called Ink Pulp with Sean Crystal and Eric Canete and Matteo Scalera. And this guy's a monster talent. Really good, an Italian artist. Tony Daniel. Tommy Lee Edwards. Wow. Adam Hughes. Wow, I wouldn't peg this as an Adam Hughes. That's great. Dan Panosian, another monster artist. Dan Panosian's got a great, like he evolved within the last 5 years. Dan Panosian is just, everything that he does is mind-blowing. Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. Jimmy Palmiotti used to be Joe Quesada's inker. Amanda Connor is his wife. Ryan Suk. Wow. How many variant covers are these? Jonas Scharf. Don't know him. Bengal. I know him. All right. Here is the master. Finally. Here is the masterclass content. So Chrononauts. That was another one he worked on with Mark Miller. Tokyo Ghost. There we go. All right. I should have just flipped to this. He does love drawing cars. So he talks about what he loves about making comics. 3 things you need in comics. So this is why it's called a master class. Wow, this is cool. He talks about being an amateur, semi-pro, full-time pro, the benefits, the risks, the tips. 5 types of storytelling. Wow, this is really literally a masterclass. Now I know why I bought this. This is great. Like, not only do you get the finished product and get to ooh and ah and kind of ogle over the art, but now you get the whole process. But it's not just like process being, oh, here's rough drawings, here's rough layouts, here's rough colors. But it's like his whole thought process, how he built this out. Yeah, this is really informative. Here's some studies. Dang. All right. Talks about different panel layouts. This is great. Love this. All right. Inking techniques. Wow. Check that out, guys. Traditional brush inking, dry brush, fingerprints, calligraphy inking, forked dry brush, nib inking. That's where we at. Inking with a ruler. All right. I got to read that because I'll probably have to do that. All the tools. Oh my goodness. I got that. I got that. I got that. I don't have Copic opaque white, but close enough. He uses a Raphael 8408 round number 2 brush, which is comparable to the Winsor Newton. Yeah. I don't know how this guy does it. He works really, really fast. He's kind of mastered his technique at... this is great. So he's breaking down here. I don't know if you guys can see it. He's breaking down here, like, how do you lead the eye? And he talks about with the green, you're leading by looking at faces because we're kind of trained to, like, track faces. Blue is, like, how the lines on the page direct your eye. And red is what his intent of leading the eye is, using the blue and the green. That's awesome. Yoy. Amazing. This is what goes into really good comics right here. Yes, I had pie. It was peach pie. It was amazing. Really good. It was from a farmer's ranch kind of place that was my wife and I stopped at as we were traveling. All I had was some juice, but hey, celebrate later. Emo Trash is here. Emo, how are you? How are you feeling? How's your boy? Rocky, what did you think of my pumpkin carving? I thought it was amazing, Comrade Sammy. I really did. I don't know if, I think everybody in the chat got to see it, but it was great. And I was amazed at how you carved Am I Muted? It was really clean and clear. I don't know how you did that. You've got the tools. You definitely got the tools. But it was amazing. Great job. Whoever that character was on the left, he's fabulous. I'm behind. I should keep track of that. This guy? Zorro? This is a whole Zorro book. So he's got the... Zorro is so cool because he's like swashbuckling with the sword and the Z. He's a little flamboyant, very showy. This is awesome. This is a very in-depth, in the brain of a creator process. I love it. 5 panels in Zorro I'd love to fix. Genius. Brilliant. Man. Okay. 7 zones of character design. This guy is way ahead of this game. No wonder why he's so good. I love it. I love this like commentary, this written commentary. Almost more. I mean, the drawings are incredible, but yeah. Let's talk about his influences. Travis Charest, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Mike Mignola, Stephen Platt, Chris Ware, Kyle Baker, Ashley Wood, Rob Schrab, Jamie Hewitt, Sergio Tappi, Zaffino, Tim, Bill Watterson. 5 types of motivation. This is so good. I've never seen anything like this or put together like this. I've seen bits and pieces that are similar. Like, oh, like I was saying earlier, here's the layouts, here's the roughs, here's the tools you need. But this is great. There you go. Wow. That's going to be a lot to get through. Zorro Man of the Dead Masterclass Edition. For sure. Lives up to the name, Masterclass. He included issue 1 of Zorro. And then all of the issues are included that. So it's a one-stop shop of this series, Zorro Man of the Dead. With all these extras. So I believe that this Masterclass edition is not going to be available to the public. It was only through the Kickstarter. So that's cool. And that's why I backed it. Like I had mentioned earlier, I could have backed also a black and white version of all this stuff, but I figured that would have been overkill for Sean Gordon Murphy and this series. So I'm glad I opted for what I did, though, because that's cool. Really, really cool. Okay. All right. That was the first unboxing. Here's the one that literally came 5 minutes before I started this stream. And I'm pretty sure I think I know what it is. Oh my gosh. Peach pie sounds good. It was great. I ain't gonna knock Rocky's looks, but I can't say I'm quite that enamored. Thank you. I used clay carving tools to get the clean cuts in the pumpkin. Nice. Yeah, I would always, when I did pumpkins with my kids, I would use like, first it started off with just like knives, like whatever knives we had around. And then that wasn't great. And then I started using the like cheapo pumpkin carving tools they would sell, the kits they would sell on Halloween. And those were a little better. And then I got a little bit more expensive, like ordered a separate, more expensive kit for the later childhood years of them. And those were awesome. Those are really good. But I've never gone as far as non-Halloween carving tools, like clay carving tools. So maybe if I kept doing it, I would have gotten that hardcore. But we would do cool pumpkins. One time I had my kids draw, when they were much younger, I had my kids draw like a sketch of what they wanted the pumpkin to look like. And then I transferred that sketch onto the pumpkin. So it kind of looked like a kid's drawing, if that makes any sense. The faces. That was cool. One time we did a pumpkin that was, we carved it so that its mouth was wide open, and then my wife made this guacamole dip, and then you make it like the pumpkin's throwing up the dip out of its mouth and then onto a plate with like the chips and stuff. That was really fun. I've seen there's some amazing pumpkin carvings out there. This is just all box. Oh, you guys. Hang on a second. Let me do this properly. Just don't want to damage this. This is what I thought it was going to be, but it's really secured in here, and I don't want to I'm going to end up hitting the camera if I don't do this right properly. So give me 1 second to properly. Oh my gosh. All right, get ready for this. Ooh, careful. Look at this. This is an original Declan Shalvey page from Mystique #1, which I just reviewed on My Wednesday Comics. So it's like we were just talking about this book. And I saw that he was selling the artwork, selling some original pages. I'm a sucker for Declan Shalvey stuff. This will be my 3rd page that I have of Declan Shalvey. And there was some cooler pages, but they were way more expensive. Here's the page. And I love this drawing of Maverick. And I had to have some pages with Mystique on it. Obviously, the way that people price original pages out is the more you have the cool or the title character on the page, the more full body they are, the more cool action pose they are, the more expensive the page is. So, I only have a certain threshold of what I can afford. Like this page here. This page here, right here on the left, was one of the more expensive pages because, she's in this cool pose with the gun and it's a clear shot of her face. The cover's like thousands of dollars. Can't afford that. But this page, gotta love the cool action shot. And what I look for when I venture out to purchase original pages is I look for a cool variance in shots. Like, I love to see storytelling in it. I love to see technique. So he did this like dry brush technique here. Look at how he inked these action lines. That's really hard. Let me zoom in a little bit. Is that focused? Yeah, it's focused. This is a total action shot of Maverick. Right here. Cool shot of Mystique, like hitting him in the arm. And there's some nice white paint splatter right here. So splattering techniques. Declan Shalvey does a lot of washes in his, like gray tone washes in there. You could see like on that sash or whatever that is. And I love this overhead shot. Not that much backgrounds in this. I do like pages that show backgrounds too, but it's okay. It's a cool page. So pretty neat to see it like right in front of me after having viewed the page in print in a comic book. Pretty neat, huh? This is the beauty of comic art right here. This came really fast. Like I just ordered it not too long ago. So it came very fast. So Declan Shalvey, if you are watching this, which I know you're not, but if you were, thank you so much for shipping this so quickly. If you go to declanshalvey.com, he has a storefront on his own website where he is still selling more pages of this book and other stuff that he does. So cool. I'll put that up maybe behind me in that frame here. So cool. Let's see. Used to love carving pumpkins. Haven't done it in a few years. Yeah, the problem with carving pumpkins is after a while you just leave them out on your step a little too long and then they start melting. It's really gross. I did find a little hack that if you coat like after you carve it or gut the pumpkin, if you coat the inside with like oil, it lasts a lot longer. If you don't, then it'll rot really quickly once you carve it. Always did at least one that was similar to the Halloween movie poster. Oh yeah, that's classic carving. My boy tried and failed to carve Luffy from One Piece, and I attempted to do Asmodeus from Hell of a Boss. Wow, I don't even know any. I mean, I know One Piece. I don't know the character Luffy. I don't know anything about One Piece, to be honest. But I know of One Piece. So I don't know how hard that is, but any kind of likenesses like that are really, yeah. I find the simpler the better. Like I go for like simple triangles, simple squares when I'm doing carving. All right, cool. Those were the unboxings. Really cool, really beautiful. Let's get to, someone says he doesn't carve. He has an uncarved pumpkin, and those will last forever. once you break the seal, the skin of the pumpkin, that's when it's like a ticking time bomb before it starts melting. But if you don't, then they just last forever. Comrade Sammy said, you should see the pumpkin I did a few years ago. It was Waddles from Gravity Falls, and it looked awesome. Cool. I told myself I was going to do homework with Rocky in the background, but then he pulled out a character with a 10 out of 10 design. Yeah, it's a good one. Zorro. All right, here we go. This was an issue that I did not cover like several weeks ago. Here we are finally getting to Absolute Wonder Woman #1. You guys all know how much I enjoyed Absolute Batman #1. So much so that I was in the comic book shop today and I saw I believe it was second printing of Absolute Batman. It has a different cover on it by Nick Dragotta. And I was like, ooh, should I get that second printing cover? But I opted not to. I had self-control. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I posted up that closer look video on Monday and went over, like, kind of reviewed why I loved it so much. I even gave the shtick to my friend Marty, as a matter of fact, of why I loved it so much. So it was fresh in my mind from doing the review video that of why I liked the book so much. So DC in this all-in initiative, back out here a bit. In this all-in initiative, DC was releasing Absolute Wonder Woman as well, and then Absolute Superman, which came out today. Absolute Wonder Woman came out 2 weeks ago, I think. But we didn't get to review it. I had to stop my stream early, if you remember, because I had to go pick up my daughter. But so yeah, here it is. This is Absolute Wonder Woman. I did get to read it. It's written by Kelly Thompson, and the artist is Hayden Sherman, who I don't know their work at all outside of this book. The colorist is Jordi Belair, who I do know her colors because she used to work all the time with Declan Shalvey. And from interviews I've read with and seen with Declan Shalvey, they actually used to date. They are no longer dating anymore, so now he colors his own stuff. But she's a great colorist. Jordi Belair is a really, really good colorist. She colored, I believe, the Duke book from Skybound that I loved. So yeah, she's great, really good. So it's a good team. And just flipping through this, I've already read this, flipping through this, I feel like maybe this is because I'm doing a Mobius page, but I feel like this artist is somewhat influenced by Mobius. This like upside down triangle geometric shape is very much a Mobius kind of thing that we would do. And the way the ink lines and these little hatch marks on the character drawings kind of remind me of this like European Mobius feel. Here's the first introduction of the new Wonder Woman. Totally different from what you expect or what you think of when you think of Wonder Woman. Like, where are the golden bracelets? Wonder Woman's usually in like blue and I have this blue and gold, red, yellow, red, white, and blue. Like, this is the classic kind of Wonder Woman that you expect, right? That we all grew up. So this is different. This looks different than the Wonder Woman on a dead horse, skeleton horse, flying with a gigantic magic sword that comes out of her pockets. But yeah, she's a warrior and is just fighting these like demon creatures that all of a sudden appear in the sky. She's like casting this magic here. And so I love this. So dramatic. They start going into like the backstory of how she became to be. And this is the goddess Circe, and this is in hell. And Apollo, one of the gods, he's like dressed kind of modern. He's got this modern outfit. I don't know if you guys can see it. So it's like, what's up with that? But he basically drops off Diana to Cersei and says, hey, you got to take care of her. She's banned. They do this cool thing where he's talking about how the word Amazon is banned. And then every time that Cersei tries to say it, it's like the word Amazon here is in the word bubble, but then they scratch it out. So it's kind of this cool little way of explaining it in comic dialogue terms. Speaking of this book, there was somebody who visited and commented on my Absolute Batman closer look video, and he was like, hey, you should do Absolute Wonder Woman next, closer look. So I might do that. So I won't go super in-depth on stuff because otherwise I'll be repeating myself. But look at these great colors. Like, this is supposed to be hell, and Jordi Belair is coloring it in this kind of almost colorless, desaturated world. And then when she does add bright colors like Apollo or this snake, they really pop. So it's awesome. So yeah, I feel like this artist is influenced by Mobius, which is kind of funny because we are doing this Mobius master study. It's kind of a progression. As she grows up, it just shows the same scenes over and over again, but like as time passes on. And then there's this wild, now in present day time, there's this wild demon character that she has to fight. So it's cool. I think if I were to describe this book, both the writing and the artwork, it's unexpected. This is not what I was expecting for a Wonder Woman book. It's a lot darker, and there are similarities. There's the Amazons, there's Hippolyta, there's the island of Themyscira, or whatever, however you pronounce it, that she's from. All those kind of things are the same, but her purpose is different. And her background is different. She's a lot darker. So yeah, it was cool. I mean, I think I'll definitely pick up issue 2 on this. I haven't, it didn't get me like so jazzed like Absolute Batman did. But at the same time, I think it was executed really well, and the story was good enough that I was like, okay, this is interesting take. I want to know more. I want to know about her character and where she goes. So that's great. I think the cover is beautiful, beautiful drawing. And yeah, there's a little bit of like back stuff here. I'm not so sure about the big sword. Big sword feels too much like magic from X-Men or New Mutants, whatever. Okay, so that's Absolute Wonder Woman. All in, number 1. I may or may not, good possibility that I might do a closer look video on it. To be determined. But I do love that whoever that person was that commented, I think his name was Noah, that commented, asked, say, hey, you should do this. And like, he really appreciated the other video, the Batman video. So I'm like, maybe I should do it. All right, let's see. Let me catch up here. Uh-oh. I see some people. Wait. Wow. Oh, wow. She's riding a dead horse. Yes. Yes. And because she comes from hell. And so in hell, she also befriends the creatures in hell. Like, they're trying to kill her, these creatures, because they're bad hell creatures. But she actually befriends them because she's special. And so it eventually leads to her, like, they don't go too into it, but she has, this is her horse, or Pegasus. Could be an ant with wings, maybe. I think I still have a pic of the Waddles carving if you all want to see it. Definitely post it, Comrade Sammy. Don't ever ask. You, Emo Trash, Cranberry, anybody else who draws, don't ask, just post. The answer will always be yes for me. I always want to see this stuff. Yo, happy Wednesday. What's up, Cranberry?
This is a cranberry full of power.
How are you doing? Great pages, Cranberry Langer says. Yeah, they're good. They're good. I was pleasantly surprised. I loved the cover. I always loved the cover image. I wasn't sure how the interiors would be, and because I've never heard of this artist before, not like different from like I had heard of Nick Dragotta, so I knew kind of what to somewhat expect. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with that book, and for sure I will pick up the second issue. Comrade Sammy passing on the happiness. Awesome One passing on the happiness. They made her a Dark Knight. 10 out of 10. Might actually be interested in her now. There you go. Sold. John.
Goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
So what? Just everybody's going to stream today? Listen, before any president was ever elected in the history of time, there was comics on Wednesday. So that ain't changing no matter what party it is, no matter what president we have. We are having comics on Wednesday. And I was telling the chat earlier, now if a president came in and changed that and said, we're going to move comic day, new comic book day to Thursday, or we're going to get rid of comic books altogether, then I'd be really angry. But comics are happening no matter what is going on in the world. Happy day. Mark's music obsession beat me to the punch. He's already there with the sound effects. A lot of you guys are happy. I wonder why. Great panel designs, art, and coloring. Yes. I like Wonder Woman, especially Eyes of the Gorgon or whatever. I don't know if I've read that. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Always coming down with the wisdom from Proverbs, for sure. That demon looks similar to Hunson Abadir with the circle panel. Who's Hunson Abadir? I don't know. I'm not smart enough here. Hunson Abadir. Oh. Adventure Time character. He doesn't look like that, really. Hunson Abadir looks kind of like a... Actually, I thought that creature looked a lot like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things with the way that its head opened up. Catching up way behind, 24 minutes out unless the usual crash happens. Themyscira, thank you. Cooking lasagna. Everybody's had very little sleep, John. I feel sluggish. I can feel it. I didn't get my mid-afternoon coffee either, so I can feel it. I can feel I'm a little sluggish. I always pronounced her name Hippolyta. Yeah, whatever. I didn't hear much about the election fraud fairy, but I haven't watched that much news today. Yesterday, I was telling the chat, I was actually pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as much of this like craziness, chaos. It was pretty clean cut, pretty clear, the decision all across the board. So yeah, I haven't watched how people have kind of come out of it this morning. I have listened to a little bit on the radio, and you can hear it, but it's kind of clear how the results came out and why. Mark's music obsession was up till 2:45, running on 3.5. We're gonna all fall asleep on stream. Hunson Abadir from Hippolyte, otherwise known as Modeng. Somebody mentioned Modeng this morning. What was it? I can't remember. Modeng, that little hippo. Light. Oh, I just got it. Hippo Light. Perfect. Awesome one. You got it, man. With so little sleep, you've got the pun still. Feeling positive and excited. That's great. I never asked to post. I ask if anyone's dedicated enough for a DM because I'm not trying to have my work out there for the masses. Okay. Yes. The answer is yes. Everybody's happy. I don't believe you on the comics on Wednesday before the president bit. Those are my facts. I'm sticking to it. Check the facts. I'm transparent. Give me some community notes if I'm wrong. But I do believe comics were here on the first day of creation. Rocky, as your chief derailer, I expect that you would continue to post comics in spite of the government. It's true. It's true. I'm doing my part for King and Country, and we are going to promote comics till the day I die, I think, is the way it goes. That's my charge. It's a really good Wonder Woman story, Rocky. You should read it. Okay, I will. All right, I'm going to put that in my notes, Cranberry. I can do this. Wait, I can do this. I can do a search for Cran in the comments. And Eyes of the Gorgon. Okay. Wonder Woman, Eyes of the Gorgon. Let's see. I have it on this other setup, I think. Can I do this? Boom. 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 Eyes of the Gorgon. I'm going to make sure I note it that it's Wonder Woman, Eyes of the Gorgon. There we go. Cranberry, you made it into my notes. Alrighty. Okay, now I gotta go back here. Convert you to the dark side. Trump is the second person to be elected 4 years later. Yes, that's pretty amazing. I mean, again, whatever you might think politically, his comeback was crazy. The craziest comeback ever. Like, that guy has resilience. I give him that for sure. He's got fight. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I didn't realize it was that long ago until like it came out in the news. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Here we go. Next book. Absolute Superman. This was the third absolute launch. The big three. Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. This one I was least excited about. And it's probably because Superman's never been my favorite. So I'm really... Wow, that's cool. It's like Blade Runner. I haven't even looked at this. Yeah, I think I'm mildly intrigued because if somebody can give me a Superman that is different and is a cool take on it, then I will. And people have tried, right? So we had like, remember, I don't know, half a year ago, I did that review on Death of Superman. And when he died, the Superman that came back, that not took his place, but they called it The Return of the Superman. They did that whole storyline. They explored different options or different takes on what Superman can be. So they had like a Superboy, they had Steel, the like construction worker and like all steel. They had like the Terminator robot Superman. And there was one more. I can't remember. But none of those really appealed to me. Then they did like Electric Boogaloo Superman, the one, the blue suit. Didn't really like that one either. So they've done so many different versions of Superman already. So I'm curious about this one. see how it goes. It's hard to make a character who is pretty much invulnerable to everything and can do anything. It's hard to make them interesting. And yet, you know, you hear all the, you know, there's been a million takes on Batman too. There's been a bunch of takes on Wonder Woman too, but they've kind of done it. They kind of did a cool take on both of those characters. So hopefully this writer, Jason Aaron, and the artist, Rafa Sandoval, can give us a cool take. Already the artwork, though, is not totally capturing me. It's good, but I think this is Peacemaker. Oh my gosh, my phone. I mean, you give a little bit of long hair. Okay. But the S looks the same. I mean, that's cool. It's got this kind of spacesuit costume. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not jumping out of my seat for this one, but it could be cool. It's like some sort of wrestling thing back here. Yeah, I flipped through this Batgirl. I was like, I flipped through JSA 1. I didn't see Black Lightning. Didn't see The Question. Yeah, I was just going to give these 3 a go. So far, Absolute Batman is my favorite. Wonder Woman in second. And then this one, I don't know. I'll read it and I'll let you guys know, but I'm not jumping out of my seat. All right. There we go. Absolute. Finally. Those are my facts. If it's that writer's whole run on Wonder Woman, that's great, not just that specific one. Okay, cool. YouTube keeps pausing. Maybe because you have like 40 tabs open, John, with all the different YouTube channels. He did it. He totally did it. I mean, the chips were stacked against him, and he did it. The second he did, like, I mean, there were so many kind of brilliant campaign moves that he did. The garbage truck, the McDonald's thing was totally brilliant. Good cover for Superman. Batman is the best thinly veiled villain arc there is. Greg Rucka. Oh, Greg Rucka. Okay. I'm not super... I know he's a seasoned writer, but I don't know if there are as many Greg Rucka books that I've read, but I will definitely look up that Wonder Woman. I like Superman Red and Blue. I didn't like Superman Red and Blue. It was too different. Fading myself. Me too. Shanth Enjeti art. Shanth, I didn't call you last night. That's how tired I was. Shanth, tell me, do you want to jump in here, Shanth? If you want to jump in here, let me know. I would be happy to have you on here because I'm going to go through a bunch of back issue stuff, but one of the first back issues I'm going to go through is this one. Do you want to come in here? Let me know. I would love to have you on. I liked the Superman clothes when he died. Yeah, it didn't do it for me. It really didn't. Shanth bringing in the love. People loving it. What's up, Shanth? lethargy is real. It's going to be a drag to make it to my normal non-existent bedtime. I think the whole country is like that. We're all kind of sluggish because of the election. Except Comrade Sammy. That's good. No, I'm sluggish because I was up late watching all the news stuff. Let me see. Now Rocky will break for dinner, then draw for 4 hours. Yes. How long was she streaming? I saw that she streamed a long time yesterday and then today. My goodness. All these people. Got to take like a 4-day weekend to make it up. Okay, Shanth said, sure, let me get it set up. Shanth in his underwear. Okay. The only thing that keeps him from becoming a villain is that he chooses to beat the crap out of criminals instead of civilians or the other heroes. It's true. For sure. He's very morally gray. Yes, all that. And that is what makes Batman Batman. All right, let me see. Let me do this. I'm going to get you in here, Shanth. Let me see if I can set this up really quick, guys. Have patience, everybody. Take a step. Take a moment. Let me see if I can get this set up, though. Because I want... Oh, I thought I had a scene. Where did I have that scene? Screen share. I don't think it's on here. Is it this one? No. Ah, dang it. It's not on here. All right, so I'll do this, and I will do this, and do this, and do this. I guess we could do this. No. All right, and then I can assign this. All right, let me get Shanth in here. And we'll mix it up. We'll mix it up. We will boost each other with energy. So Shanth, you better come with energy here. And then this. Turn that on. And copy that link. All right, Shanth, I'm going to send you the link. And then chat, you got to let us know if he's like loud enough once he gets in here or what. I guess I can go while Shanth's doing this. I'm going to go to, while we're waiting for Shanth, I'm going to go here. Talk about this one really quick. Redcoat number 7. So at the end of Redcoat number 6, basically all hell broke loose and kind of wrapped up Redcoat's storyline with Benedict Arnold. So this is like, they call this like an epilogue. I think this is like an epilogue to the story, but he almost died. And they've got this cool kind of reset for him. If you guys don't remember, he is immortal. And it's like, now what? After that story is ended. I think it's like the first story arc ended. So here it is. Artwork's great. Look at that. Oh, this is cool. So in the other, and I haven't read this one yet, but in the previous issues, his sidekick was a young Albert Einstein. And so this is kind of cool. I guess like time has passed and he's meeting up with Albert Einstein, but he's much older now. All right, hang on. Somebody. All right. Assign. Hopefully this works. Can you hear me, Shanth? I can't hear you, though. Why can't I hear you? Is that only... Do I have to let you join first? It's going to be one of those. Sign. Yep. Okay, let's see if we can get this working. Whoop. Nope. No. What in the blue blazes? Oh. There we go. Okay. So I can... But why can't I hear you? Oh, no. Oh. Hang on. No. Interview guests. You're on. Oh no. I still can't hear you. You talking? No, I can't hear anything. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of car holiday. No. No. Speakers. Yeah, my interview setting. I see it. It's not muted. But I'm not getting any settings. It says like, it has like the microphone with the line through it when it has you in here. Nope, that's not it. I see your picture. I wonder if I just go back to, if I publish it.
Hey.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes. What happened?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm just eating pasta coming in here to talk comics. What's up, dude?
What is up? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great, man.
Everybody, can you hear? Oh my gosh.
What's up, chat?
There's the man. What's up? What are you eating? Pasta? That looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you make it? No, I like it better.
Mm-mm.
No?
No, dude. No, man. I'm just reheating some pasta from yesterday. Went to the doctor. Turns out my blood glucose was a little high. They said my blood is actually high fructose corn syrup. So I came home. I had a couple of sodas, thought about it, like what am I going to do to fix this situation? Had a couple of candy bars. And I still haven't figured it out, but I'm going to keep working. If I have to eat all night. And I didn't have a pulse, it turns out. So
nice.
We got to talk to somebody about that. But yeah, this looks good, dude. What are we looking at?
This is Redcoat. I was just doing it just to kind of fill in while you're coming in, but we'll flip through it. And then I want to go over Starship Troopers. It would be awesome to see. Dude, I was looking at a Zorro Masterclass book that I backed on Kickstarter from Sean Gordon Murphy. And he goes into the process, like super process of what he was doing in each panel and all that kind of stuff. So we can do that live with you.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Yeah. Anyway, cool images here of Albert Einstein.
Right on.
Not who you would expect to see in a comic. But...
Well, he looks mad in that panel. I'm like, easy, Albert.
Right here.
Did I get a C?
But the cool thing, and I don't know if you've read this series, but the cool thing is he's like a young kid, like a sidekick to this main guy, Redcoat, Simon Pure, the whole series. So here it's kind of like the wrap up on this first story arc, and I guess he's visiting him on his deathbed, possibly. Yep. Mm-hmm. And he's dead. The end.
Damn.
Yeah, that went south really fast. Look at that.
That did. Oh,
this is great. And sad. And kind of cool. All right. Enough of this garbage. No. It's great. Redcoat, all the Ghost Machine stuff has been awesome. Redcoat, I think that I finished Rook Exodus number 6. That one is wrapping up. That one is wrapped up till 2025. And Redcoat, I think that's the end of the first arc, and then the other one is Geiger. I think they just finished their first arc, so they're all wrapping up their stuff.
Oh my god!
Here, oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Let me. The chat was buzzing while I was trying to get the stupid thing working, so let me just catch up and make sure before we get into this, because this is gonna be great. All right, let's see, we're talking about Batman. This is how far back I am. How late were you up last night?
Let me think. I think I went to bed like around 3:30 or so, 3 or 4.
Wow.
And then I woke up at about 9, and then I had to do this doctor's appointment that was, at 1. And it was funny because I won't go to I don't have a problem with getting blood drawn, but I won't go to, I won't do it if I don't do it that day. So I was like, I just won't eat till my appointment at 1, and just see how that goes. And
it was a fasting blood draw.
Yeah, fasting blood, test. But it was a beautiful day today. I mean, New England is not usually, we haven't had it like this for a while. But the fall colors, it's been warm. You know how New England gets when it gets beautiful, and it's been one of those falls. It's very beautiful.
Haven't
for a
the
walk
leaves
with Lauren, all that stuff?
Haven't the leaves already dropped, or are they still up?
A lot of them have, but there's a few that are stragglers that they just are so bright they look like Maxfield Parrish. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
really beautiful out here.
Yeah,
but
yeah. My wife was out there a couple weeks ago. And she was catching just at the right time, catching all the leaf color changes. She was sending me pictures, and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's unlike anywhere else.
Yeah.
Art and Times with Jay Ryan. What is up, man? How you doing, Jay?
It's actually a really good sculpt.
How are you doing? Everybody's saying hello to Jay Ryan.
Yo.
John says he didn't watch Gothics yesterday because she was too doomy. Really? I don't watch her either, but I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't think that of her. Really? Watching Rocky Boomer his way through this. Yeah. How appropriate. Everybody laughing. Awesome One says, now we just need Shelby to show up in the chat. Why?
There you go.
Why Shelby? You can literally see the gears turning in Rocky's brain. Yeah, that was painful. That was a little painful. And so... For future reference, Shanth, in preview mode, which I was in trying to get your screen up there, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't unmute you in preview mode. But then once I hit go live, like publish, then your audio came in. So there we go. Now you know. Shalvey acknowledged he watches Rocky but doesn't want to interput Rocky art flow. What? Really?
I think interrupt, yeah.
Oh. Interrupt my art flow. How would he interrupt it? Well, I could see Shalvey interrupt. I would love to have him in the chat while I was drawing. That'd be awesome. It'd be a little stressful because I think he'd have the critical eye. Like as every stroke I'd put down, he'd say something. So maybe that's why. That's okay. But let's bring it. Bring it. Try not to disrupt. No, nobody here disrupts.
I'm here.
Yeah, Shanth does. Boomer Rocky, thank you. Always spinning. We're almost there. I wanted pasta. John just caught up in time to watch Shanth eat. That's a
right.
thing.
I'm here to help.
You're doing well for having straight high fructose corn syrup for blood and not having a pulse, Shanth.
That's right.
Mark's Music Obsession says, Shanth, I wore my Iron Age shirt to vote last week. Wow.
Nice. Love it.
Mark's the man. Did you see the post that the picture of the finished puzzle of your artwork?
I did. I reposted it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
So good.
I mean,
how long did it take you to do,
things,
Mark, or your mom to do? I'm curious. 500-piece puzzle?
Yeah, I mean, I think of all the things that, I mean, we're way past it right now anyway, but there's so many things I never would have thought would have happened. And I just think that I'm like well past the, overload moment of that. Like,
right.
We're on a stream.
Yes.
Talking about a comic.
Yes.
I did when my kids were almost 1, like right before their first birthday. And, appendix rupturing and all that other stuff. And it was one of those many things, and I would say this to everybody in the chat, to where, opportunities to do things you dream of doing sometimes don't come at the moment when you're most able to with free time. Then they come at the worst possible time for a million reasons, right?
Yeah.
And there's no time like the right time. There's just, when it's time for something to happen, it's the right time it goes. And I'm actually really grateful for having had that opportunity to work on it, because Jimmy Reyes, who was the inker on it, I now know. And the world is so small. It's
so crazy.
Terrifying.
Have you talked to him about this book?
Yeah, we talked about, I mean, we're just in passing, like, hey, you remember that? And both of us are probably like, not really. But because it's been a lot of years. But yeah, he said, he introduced himself. He said, I worked with Shanth on that book. And I was like, oh, hey, man, the amount of coincidences at this point.
Yeah.
They're not even. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
So paint the scene, Shanth, as much as you remember and or want to share how this job came about, like where you were at, like, I don't know, career-wise, or just like how you got this job, and what you were thinking when you started it.
So I had broken up with comic books for the 50th time. And fickle girl. Yeah, I mean, this is just so you guys can understand wherever you guys are in your lives. So I had just started working in a master's program. We had just bought a house, and my wife and I, were new parents, or I think she was just about to have the kids.
Wow.
And then I had also been offered, the year I got into the master's program with a teaching assistantship, jobs at 2 colleges, Rhode Island School of Design, Montserrat College of Art, and they were a giant triangle about 90 miles between them, by the way, and another one. And I had said yes to all of this stuff. And then this guy in Britain named Richard contacted me and goes, I'm a huge fan of your book, Spring Ball. I think I've tracked down your email. I've been trying to find you. I would love for you to work for me on Starship Troopers in that style, which I had recently retired. Like, actually, I'd retired it maybe 3 years before that. And he's like, and I want you to come out of retirement.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm sitting here, and I'm with the newborn kids and the master's program, which was getting a master's degree is like going to the DMV. I was so burnt out. I actually said, you know what? I can't handle this anymore. I got to take care of my wife, take care of these new kids. I'm out of the master's program. I'm dropping out. And I'm going to go just do this comic. I don't even know whether to scratch my watch or wind my behind. I am so sleep deprived. And that would have been right after I came out and saw you guys. And we went to Skywalker Ranch. Oh, yeah. And this is the craziness, right? And this guy is just so enthusiastic and persistent. And so I just go, you know what? I'm going to try to make this happen. And I don't know what I was thinking about any of this stuff. And I was just trying to, keep us, afloat, working all these different jobs.
Yeah.
And, but it was so crazy about it is, and again, this is the wild part of it. Did he tell you it was for
Starship Troopers when he approached you? Did you already know?
Yeah, he said, I want you to draw Starship Troopers. And I'm like, why would you think of me for that? And why, listen, the only time, and this is a very Todd McFarlane style, everybody knows, and that's what he wanted. Mm-hmm. And I go, the only time Todd ever worked on something remotely military was G.I. Joe, and he got fired off of that book. Mm-hmm. I go, because it doesn't work. I don't think the style works. And, but he really wanted me to do it. And I just thought, this, like a lot of comic book jobs, and particularly Richard, who is just a really great fan and supporter and boss, I just thought, you know what, guys, you only live once. And this was my dream. I want to try to get this to happen. Mm-hmm. And
Richard, it was this guy, Richard Ems, right?
Yep, that's him, Richard Ems. Yeah. And there's Jimmy Reyes, guys, right there. In case you wonder how crazy the universe is. This was
2006.
What year would this have been? 2006. So my kids were born 2005. So,
crazy.
And so so I had 2 1-year-olds. 3 jobs, and my appendix ruptured.
I wonder why.
Like, guys,
I wonder why.
It's nuts. And because you know what? Here's the problem. We can't hang out, man. I'm gonna tell you this. We can't do it anymore. We got to stop hanging out because I went to go get my blood drawn today. The woman who I was talking to me about life, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "My kid, won't say what they were doing, is doing this particular profession, or is going into this particular profession, my daughter, and she's a freshman in college." And the woman just stopped dead, and she goes, "You are not old enough to have kids in college." Now she's my age, and she goes, "You're not old enough to have kids. Do not tell me you're old enough to have kids in college." And I'm like, "Yes, I am." So I guess we look young, because when I talked about doing my first professional job with Andy Smith, I said, this was 31 years ago. People do not know how that's possible. Yeah. And I go, well, I was 17 31 years ago. So weird, man. So yeah.
Check it out. Where is it based in?
San Francisco. Mm-hmm. That's right. And I had been to San Francisco already at this point, so I actually knew a little bit about it. I didn't use any of that for reference, but I tried.
Right.
Oh my God.
It's still cool, man. It's so cool.
Oh, Lordy B.
So you were given, I don't know what other stuff this writer's Tony Lee has written before this series.
I'm sure. I think he did some stuff for Marcosia. He had a character he created, all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
And I did some stuff for
how was his script, if you remember, like, was it like written?
I don't know. I only remember a little bit about it. Okay. And this was early on into me. It's so hard to really even for people to grasp. This was so early on in terms of me understanding, like, we're doing things via email, we're scanning artwork in, and we're sending it to people.
Traditionally done, right?
That was, so I would send the scans, and then they would be inked off of printouts. So I actually still think I have, with the exception of the cover, which I inked, I think I have all of the penciled originals for all that stuff.
No kidding.
Somewhere in the basement, yeah.
And
I should probably sell those at some
Jimmy
point.
Ray. Yeah, you should.
That's wild to think about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's telling me about action, and I'm doing something with all due respect, guy, like in terms of what I like to draw. You know?
Yeah. It looks awesome. It's fun. I mean, I think the key with tech, like, love him or hate him, like Rob Liefeld was the biggest. I mean, even McFarlane to a certain extent would they would draw their tech, and it wasn't necessarily accurate, but they just made it look cool and fun, in the style that they were drawing. And so I think you did that here. It's like just made it look cool. And were you referencing the movie at all when you were doing this? You must have.
Not really.
Really?
Just a little bit. And to the dismay of many Starship Troopers fans, because they're like, who is this guy with this weird janky sort of armor? But I asked Richard. Richard was very nice and very accommodating. And he's like, oh yeah, draw what you want to draw armor wise, because it's the movie is its own thing. It's based on a book series, obviously. Right. So I kept some of it, like the monsters, I made them,
these guys,
those, but I didn't want to have to draw the skinny armor. It just didn't do very much for me. That thing I created, was nothing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was just trying to create something cool.
There you go. Cool is cool. Cool sells. You can see Jimmy Reyes adding some crazy extra hatch marks here on that.
Heck yeah, man.
He just went nuts on that shadow.
He went all in. He was like, let's do this thing.
There you go. Shanth.
Yep, that's right.
That's right.
Yep.
Where's her, what do you call it? Diaphanous nightgown?
I thought, let's just lose the whole thing. Let's and what's so weird is that all of these characters, they have names and they're in armor and things like that. And the thing that's tricky is I was trying to draw them and cartoon them. So I was thinking about, aliens, and I was thinking, okay, that guy's going to have his hair shaved on one side. And because as they get taken out, I'm like, how are people going to know?
Yeah. No,
like, this guy's going to have these weird glasses, right?
Totally.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
That's great.
It's
really good.
But I was a kid. I was so seriously, guys. I was a kid in the sense that I was 28 or 29, but I was, and which is to me quite old, but I was a new dad. And a new dad is like, there's nothing like it. Like, you have your brain just can't handle the neural load of twin newborns. And your brain just goes. You have nothing extra,
So wait, go back on your appendix burst when you were in the middle of this book. Was it this issue?
Yeah. So that cover is a part of a triple cover.
This cover.
And was a big sort of fan of my stuff. And he said, I want you to do a triple cover for this book. And I said, Richard, I'm ahead on the deadline right now, or at least I'm with the deadline right now. And if you want me to do this whole series, which I had to stop, like parenting, all that stuff, I was like, I cannot finish this series. I felt terrible, but I go, this, you got to know when you're whipped, basically.
Yeah.
And what was so funny about it is I'm working on this, and he's like, no, come on, it'd be so great. It would be so cool. I'm like, I know you really want to see me do this. I love Richard. He was such a patient, such a good guy with all this stuff going on. But I would really feel more comfortable if I don't do any extra stuff. Cause I do covers for other books like Scatterbrain, things like that. But I was very concerned about it. And wouldn't you know it, like, of all the dumb luck, I'm working on the triple cover. It's on the dining room table in the room I'm in right now. This used to be our dining room.
Wow.
And gosh, I'm having a bad like, what's going to happen? And I'm sitting there, and I was hungry, and I ordered some pizza, and then I just got sick, and I started feeling, really nauseous, really sick, but not like normal.
I was sitting there eating pasta because I just got back from the doctor.
And all of a sudden, my nose started bleeding, and all of a sudden. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like going, this feels different, this feels different. So one generation up, everybody who was a sibling in this family, my grandfather's side, my Puerto Rican grandfather's side, all the siblings' appendix ruptured around the time they were like 29 or 30.
No kidding.
And I knew that my sister's appendix had ruptured 3 years earlier when she was 29.
What the?
Like down to practically the month. And I came from a medical family, so I knew enough to know that if you have pain in your stomach and then it moves down to the lower right quadrant, you're in for it.
Oh no.
And so I was debating whether or not I'd drive myself to the emergency room, but I got there. It took 16 hours on the surgery because they misfiled me. So I perforated and I was going septic when I went into surgery. So it was I don't like the term I almost died, because you either died or you didn't. But what it meant is why not A?
Yes.
And why not dead?
Okay. You failed
what
at
happened
dying.
was, what it does is they have to scrub you out, like your insides out, and then your body, it's a nightmare. That's why they typically don't want that to happen, because it saves them money and time, rooms, and it's like going to be so much more difficult. And so what ended up happening was I was messed up for months trying to recover. Like I didn't feel right for a while, and I'm commuting 90 miles up and then coming home to 2 newborns. Like it was madness. And but it was like one of those things to where, like, when people ask me, how, and because you've known me again, like we've seen each other through all kinds of stuff, right? Dave Stevens nod, right there.
Yeah.
You've seen me through all kinds of stuff, and the thing that's always been interesting is that we go for things, and sometimes like we try our best to do things. Sometimes it's not the right time, but I think that they always seem to lead somewhere. And I think it's just the getting up and keep trying. That's the big thing.
Yeah. The effort's not wasted, right? It's like, maybe you won't see it to conclusion or to its finish now in this moment, but look at how it's all like paying off where we are now, like 30 years or whatever, 25 years later or whatever it was. Did you ink this, or did Jimmy ink this too?
I inked that one. Yeah. You can tell, my inks.
Yes.
I bet you could tell it was me.
Totally. Look at this, like
I was nuts. That was my Darrow phase. Like you were showing some of that detailed ink stuff I used to do.
Yes.
And
it's great. Do you still have these originals?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness.
I've given some originals away in the past. So like the Scatterbrain cover I gave to my boxing coach and things like that. But it's like,
I love this armor.
It's
this
really
cool.
wild. Oh, thanks, man.
This is still fun, man. That's like, we can look back at all our old stuff and kind of criticize it to death and say, oh, I wish I did this, or I didn't know how to draw this or stuff. But the thing that still resonates with this, and I felt this when I opened it up after I pulled it out of that box, after I sent you the picture and I flipped through it, I was like, this is still so fun. It's really, it's just a fun, if I didn't even know you and I flipped through this, I'd be like, I'd pick it up, because it's just exudes the fun of comics of that time period. And you really capture that. So,
I mean, if I didn't know it was me and I picked it up, I would rip it to shreds. I'd go, this guy needs to get out now. Like, no, it's funny because I mean, it's Lauren has always gotten on me about that. And it's like, how do I put it? She's always gotten me on about that, because for the longest time I couldn't look back at my old work. I would just be like, I can't stand this. I can't stand this. And I just don't think I had the understanding of being able to look back on it and go, man, you like, and she wouldn't mind me saying this because I think it's good when people hear about it, but it was like, I had 2 newborns. One had colic. Lauren had postpartum, and her thyroid had stopped working. So we were in rough shape as all this was going on. And the cool thing about that is, I think, is that the great thing about parenting, the great thing about having to work a bunch of jobs and then trying to do all this stuff all the time, is that Yeah, yeah, is that the when your kids get older, you've got this superpower. Like, time management better than anything else. Like, there's no way I could YouTube, paint, write, illustrate, create all these intros, do all the stuff that we do. And you've been under production deadlines with kids.
Yeah.
And, and all the craziness that comes with it.
Yeah.
It just makes you better.
Look at this. I love what Emo Trash just said. Better to go down in a blaze of glory than as an untold story. Boom.
That's absolutely right. That's right.
That's fun. How many issues did you do of this?
I don't know. Maybe like 2 or
2. Was
I don't. I think I got the second issue, and then I was like, you got to get somebody else." So I did probably, and all told with the artwork, so it was probably 22, 44, 3-page cover. So that's another 2 other covers. Then some. I probably did like about 50 pieces of artwork.
Wow.
During that time. And I was, and again, something I would say to the chat, I can't overstate this, is that for a while, because I was out of my mind, I was so disappointed in myself on that job. I was so disappointed that I had to leave it. I was like, I was so dumb to try this, like the things that you say to yourself when, no new parent's going to be in their right mind.
Right.
But I couldn't get any of the things I was doing. Like, when you're kind of helpless as a husband, when your wife is going through something like that, you can't make a baby with colic. Like, they've got to outgrow it.
Yeah.
And so it was just everything, was really, really difficult. But I look back on it now and I go, man, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, man.
Like, for doing, I'm a maniac. Like, it's sort of like laughing at things you tried when you were too young to know how crazy it was.
Yes.
And I kind of laugh about it now more, so that's good.
We will probably look at what we're doing now with all the YouTube stuff and the comic stuff that we're talking about now. We'll look back on it and go, that was crazy. What were we thinking in our 40s or what? Like, why were we doing that? This is great. I'm so glad that I ran into it in this. I'll have to send you pictures of the actual room, because it's like boxes and boxes and boxes of back issues. And most of the ones that are the main books that you would think, like DC books, Marvel books, they're pretty organized with dividers. But then they have like the huge sections of just like alphabetical. Here's all the S books. Here's all the Q books. And I was just flipping through each one of those just to see what I could find. And then I ran across this and I'm like, holy cow. Like, what are the chances that this book would be in this pile of stuff?
It gets weirder too. Von Klaus, and speaking of just all sorts of insanity, Von Klaus, who you did a pinup for Terror in the Trenches.
Yes.
So I'm telling the story of, we were talking about our first jobs and different things we did when we were doing a CG team. And he goes, I said, I did the Flash Gordon 75th anniversary. And Von Klaus gets up, walks over to his bookshelf, and he goes, I have that right here. I'm a Flash Gordon. And I'm sitting here going, because, we work in these little areas, and we put our heads down, which is so much of this. Obviously we spend 50% of our day, just responding to tweets that we disagree with politically. That's most of my most of my day is dishes, cleaning, getting things done, organizing the studio, making sure I have brushes, paints, and all that kind of stuff. And then making sure I've got a plan to entertain these fine folks watching us too.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like kind of,
and
go to bed and wake up, whether it's good or not, just thinking about, well, how can I do that better? Or how can I, so-and-so said something about this that was like a really interesting idea. Like, how could I incorporate that? Or, so yeah, for sure. It's I think it's motivated by just that joy that we get with sharing these things and just the excitement in it. And it's weird. It's so weird, but it's fun. Like, I don't know, like all the master study stuff I'm doing. Yesterday I was like, I just have to draw. There's so much going on in the world, all the election. And I wasn't really that anxious about it, to be honest. But there was just a lot of dialogue and just noise going on. And it's like, I just need to draw and I need to do this on stream, and I need to like hang out with the chat a little bit, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun time. And I thought I was going to only do it for a couple hours, and then 4 hours later, I was like, oh, wow, that was awesome. And,
Yeah, I think that it's a funny thing because if for me, craft is a very important meditative. Agreed. Sorry, and again, deep regret. Art and Times of Jay Ryan. We do our best, but the thing that was so funny to me about it is that when it comes to all this stuff, is that I'm much more interested in civics than I am in politics and any of this kind of stuff. And I say to the missus all the time that craft and just any disciplined work you do is the healthiest thing in the world to do. And I can't ever be, it's like being positive or anything else. I won't ever be, I can't ever be apologetic for it because I'm like, I don't know how to describe it, but I never tell people there became this weird phenomenon that happened where strangers or people would go, how can you not be thinking about this? And I think if you have any empathy, and you don't know what you're dealing with in that situation, it seems almost reasonable to let someone else tell you what you shouldn't, who's a complete stranger, you shouldn't be thinking about. But it's the thing is that if you think about it in the opposite and you start laying down the things you think that you're concerned about, like people need to be in present.
Yeah.
They need to be doing what they're doing when they're doing it. And it's a strange thing. Like John Townsend, as you know, from Townsend's never goes, you guys need to be living in, thinking about the 18th century right now. And it's irresponsible if you don't, know, not a good look, Sean. Not, and it's like, and I just go, skilled people working hard and people who enjoy getting together and having a great time are one of the most important things in the world. It's so important.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I agree.
Hey,
you want to look at this?
Let's do it. I love that book. Love that book.
I saw this in the bin. I know I have a copy of this in like my old childhood collection, which I don't have available near me now. But when I saw this, I'm like, oh man, I gotta pick this up. Come on.
Yeah. I agree with you. I would buy that no matter how many copies I had if I saw it anywhere, because, and look at the Malibu Comics. Let's take a moment to look at the Malibu Comics logo still on it. This was so early on.
This is March 1993, everyone. Holy crow.
We're like, I feel like I'm staring into my death now. Like I'm comfortable. Like I got the blood test back and they're like, you're dead. And I'm like, let's jump on. Let's do this. Let's talk about this for a second. Sam Keith. How cool is his stuff?
So cool. We were just talking about thick Batman before. Sam Keith is the originator of the thick characters.
Yeah, he is. Oh, I love that character.
This guy is
that's
so
one of my
cool.
favorite characters. Yes. Love it.
Oh,
love that character.
And the ink work on it. My gosh.
He was a Frazetta fan.
He was.
So that's the Frazetta inking
Frazetta and writes
style
him too, yeah. Yeah, this like, it's beautiful. He did such cool things with the panel layouts and the lettering. Really fun stuff. Oh gosh.
Yep.
All these like unique panel borders. I have the Max. I wonder if I can't remember if they have this. Yeah, I have the art edition. I don't remember if this story is in it or not. I think it is. This looks very familiar that it is. And he just went crazy.
How many pages is that? Did we get to get there?
1, 2, 3, 8.
8 pages.
To make
so
such
I'm not
an impact.
positive, but I think the entire intro story to Spider-Man was 12.
The original Spider-Man.
So the original Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man story, in 12 pages, nerd Peter Parker, bit by a spider, becomes Spider-Man, goes to a wrestling match, lets a guy leave, Uncle Ben gets killed, and he realizes He's got to go be a hero and never let that happen again. 12 pages. The entire movie, or most of the first movie, happens in 12 pages. And what these guys did in this book was, let me get you interested in these characters. Like, that's a great assignment to give somebody.
Yeah.
Give them less pages, not more. Don't assume interest. Make it happen.
So good. So exciting. And then Rob Liefeld. Yes. Doing his version of Lobo, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I love this, actually. I really love this, and I kind of wish he continued doing it this way.
I do, too. So, do you know... I want to see if I have it here. Oh, I wonder if I have it kicking around. So, I know I have it. I'm curious what the level of avalanche will be if I try to find it. But the design... Here's how Simon Bisley... Lobo that is, right?
Yeah.
There's a character in that book, Slain, that has that exact face makeup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he actually was referencing Simon Bisley. I wish I could find what it was. So the hair going out crazy is very Slain.
They just released like a full... not an omnibus, but like all of the Slain stuff, right? Didn't they just re-release like a newly?
They re-released it, yeah.
Speaking of which, okay, this is gonna lead me into one of the other things I picked up. We'll look at this in a second.
Yeah,
Remember this?
Oh yeah, Simon Bisley, man. Body count, baby.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets Simon Bisley.
That's right.
Yeah, this is
Body count was awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, comics were. There's a lot of discussion. Holy cow! Holy heck fire! I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can, Rock. You know it's hard for me. It's. I remember when we first met. My God, you and my missus were as pure as the driven snow in my mind back then. It was so, you sweet summer children, you. And you said to me one time, I'll never forget. You went, "Shanth," I said to someone, "Shanth has a potty mouth." I just bust out.
I did?
Yes, you did. And it was because you were trying to introduce me to your normal friends.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And it was an awkward. It was a meeting of two very different worlds.
Oh gosh.
But it was, look at that though. People try to tell, and I get what they're saying. They're like, this is a low point in terms of what? In episodic writing, sure. Okay, sure, whatever. Everything comics have been. But this is what comics start as to become those things. Fun, infectious, playful, and interesting. And they got bagged on so hard.
Yeah.
For this book, for different... Well, Sam Keith was the only person who didn't get bagged on. Rob, this is a Lobo ripoff. You're an idiot. You've got no talent. This one by Jim Lee, some of his best work.
So
You're
good.
just doing a Frank Miller ripoff.
Right.
And, Frank Miller, I think, had some issue with it and went after him. And I'm like, if you can't tell the difference between this and Frank Miller, you don't own light and dark.
Right.
And I love Frank Miller, and I mean that
Yeah.
I respect Frank Miller a ton as a person, period, full stop. But this is outstanding stuff. I wish Jim would go back to this.
Yeah, this stuff was
and give this a
great.
run. Come on now.
That's awesome.
And by the way, did you know Blood Wolf is getting an action figure?
I saw that. Is that affiliated with Rob? It has to be,
that's
right?
affiliated with Rob.
Yeah.
He doesn't own Youngblood and a few other things anymore, but I think he still owns Blood Wolf, Brigade, and I think Berserkers and stuff like that. So
Prophet.
Yep, Prophet I think he still owns, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are going to be doing new Youngblood. Look at that. Come on. Come on, Jay Lee.
Yeah. This was I remember being in a Jay Lee phase when this image came out. I was sold, like, this is the guy. Like,
man, can I tell you how I know I'm the king of what do we say when I was doing the show with Gabe and Jericho? I'd go, you can't even see the rails from here. Like, we're so far off the rails. But the thing about this is, man, I am so glad you're doing what you're doing right now.
Oh, thanks.
With traditional and with all of that
Thank
stuff,
you.
man.
Thanks.
It's because there was a grit that you were sort of exploring doing in your work. But I don't just mean the grit aspect, like just really drawing stuff, like finding it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then we get into these styles, I think, sometimes because we think it's what we should do in our 20s and we stop drawing weirdly. Like we make things, but we're not really in it, investigating it and just kicking butt and just trying to draw the heck out of it because we want to make it simple or smart or clever. And I don't know, I love seeing you work because Jay Lee I remember how into Jay Lee you were, and I thought, that is wild.
Awesome one says, didn't Liefeld announce a new Youngblood? He did. He is finishing up, or I'm sure he's already done with the production of Deadpool Team Up, but that was the last like Marvel thing he said that he's going to be working on, and then he didn't say why, and then he announced that he's doing Youngblood again, and that's going to be super exciting to see how he ups his game going back to his original characters. And on top of that, they're doing a Youngblood Vault edition. Shanth knows about that, like an artist edition of his original pages on the original Youngblood series, which I'm very excited about that. Oh gosh. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah. Wow, there's too much stuff to look at, but because Shanth is here, well, we'll look at this body count thing really quick. I don't think I'm going to be able to get through all the stuff, but that cover image is incredible. I would love to, I don't know, have you ever seen any process videos of Bisley working? I don't know if he's ever shared his process, but it was always foreign to me when I would look at this. I'm like, how do you paint this? Like airbrush maybe, and acrylics, and I don't know. He's just got there's something to, I would love to know like his influences, and because he's influenced a million people, but I would love to know what his influences were.
Bisley is the big one.
Yeah.
He's on the Bisley documentary. I mean, not Bisley. Frank Frazetta is a big influence of Bisley, a big influence of Sam Keith. And oddly, I didn't get into him till my brother Nick, who you know, introduced me to him. It's so funny how folks like Travis Charest Charist I think it is, because I heard this from Art T-Bear, who worked at Wildstorm, right? So Art T-Bear works at Wildstorm, and he goes, what he told me was, he thought it would be funny to tell people it had a French pronunciation.
Shut up.
So until I hear him pronounce it that way, and I went, you are lying. We were all... So, yeah.
What?
That is I'm not sure if it's true. I'll have to ask Art next time I talk to him. But I was crying, laughing, thinking at that. If that's true, he's a genius.
He's a genius, yeah. I always loved how Bisley had two different... He had his painted style, right? Which was arguably what everybody always was amazed by. But then his pen and ink style was almost like super different, but as impactful and as like exciting as his painted stuff, but a totally different approach, like really cool. And speaking of Jay Lee, he was hugely influenced by Bisley's work on that earlier work that he was doing.
You got to be, I mean, the thing I like about the folks that I hang out with now that people, like, it's a very weird thing, because again, I know we look young. I know we look innocent and full of life. But we have kids in college, just to put it so that in case anybody's confused, right? It's like, we're not. Yeah. And we've both worked in the industry for decades.
Look at that.
Yeah. And the thing about it is at a certain point, you want to be around people who have high-level skill and interests in areas you're passionate about. And that's a smaller and smaller group of people the further you get into it. But it's like, when we talk about Bisley, this is somebody who has brought the freaking, thunder with everything he's done.
Yeah.
And enriched things. And I just admire the heck out of him.
Yeah. So cool. Really cool. I think I have the first issue of this as a floppy, but then when I saw this compilation, I never finished the story. For whatever reason, I never finished reading the story. So just to find this compilation was really exciting.
Yeah.
And then look at this. It's like semi-painted too, like computer colored. I don't know. He's doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to get up and grab something. I'm going to leave my camera going because it's funnier. Hold on 1 second.
It's funnier.
Oh, man.
But yeah, he's messing around with like computer coloring here, like making it more painterly. But I would love to see his process, how he did this. Keith Giffen kind of has a similar feel to his work too, some of his work. There was that book that Image released late 90s called Trencher, which was highly influenced by Bisley, I would say. It's awesome.
I know I have this book. It's driving me crazy. I gotta find it.
Is it the Slain book?
Yeah, I have the Slain book here. I know I do.
Cover.
And so I just am like, where the heck is it? That's gonna annoy me. But yeah, it's Bisley. I can't find it right yet, but I think it might be next to me. But Bisley is one of those guys, right? He's one of those artists. Have a good evening, Cranberry Landers, and it was great seeing you. He's one of those guys that has a style that just comes from, he's just like, I love all this stuff, and he turns it up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
It's true. The cool thing too about this story, and they talk about it here in this like gallery or whatever, is that Kevin Eastman did a lot of the layouts. And they show some of those before Bisley like finishes them up. So that's a cool pairing.
Kevin Eastman's great at layouts.
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing with layouts.
Mm-hmm. It's great. Look at that Raph.
So good.
It's like jacked up.
I mean, it's like I think that you could feel everything we do is going to be work, but you could feel the fun in their stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, like the sense of they were working their tail off to give you something that was going to blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Body Count fits that.
Yeah.
You know, and talking with you and having you around has probably done, for people who wonder, has probably done more to keep ignited my love of comics and that kind of thing, because you're, in some ways, I think you're a bigger fan of comics, like series, keeping track of what characters do and things like that, where I was always much more, I love the artwork. I love certain stories, certain, runs, but it's, you're really, we're both pretty encyclopedic in different ways, because you're pretty encyclopedic when it comes to the history of artists too. We just don't notice it as much. Because that's everybody we know.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, man.
Right.
There it is.
This
Quesada, man.
This is my
Remember
favorite. Batman Azrael with Nolan paired up to is probably my favorite Quesada stuff. But I love what he does now. Like, he is such a good artist. But this stuff back here, when he was working on this, is so like unbridled Quesada.
Oh, look at how perfect, because I'm like Army of Darkness. That's totally what I'm doing. Evil Dead and all that stuff. Yeah.
And I love that poster
Great
too.
poster.
Who painted that poster?
These were good times, folks. I know the guy's name. I can't remember because I looked it up one time and he did a bunch of different stuff, but this was the most iconic. He was painting to a style for this, but it's so good.
Great colors on that
So
poster.
good.
But yeah, this Quesada stuff is awesome. Have you ever heard of Bad Company? It's a UK, it's kind of like in the world of 2000 AD. Hang on a second. I have a feeling that Quesada was like looking at this stuff when there's 4 of these there's 4 of these volumes, and I randomly found this book on a comic book store, and then I bought the other volumes on it. But tell me that Quesada wasn't looking at this.
Oh yeah,
when he was doing
100%.
This guy.
I mean,
look at these, like this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Frankenstein, man, it's beautiful.
I love the black and white. All the like, Quesada does the like spittle in the mouth kind of stuff.
Yep.
It totally feels like.
They're saying your volume's lower than mine.
Oh, my volume's lower than yours?
Yeah, so when you turn mine down, if mine's
text.
Let's do if I can.
Hello. I can turn it up too. I can turn myself up. Mark's music session.
Meet in the middle.
Keep us honest, Mark. Anyway.
See if I turn that down, it's a little better maybe.
Now you sound really quiet.
Sorry, let me try. How's this? Is that all right? Hear me okay?
Yeah. Sounds okay.
All right, there we go.
You just can't win.
Yeah, I'm a loud jackass. That's why. Lord. Look at that. Yeah, guys.
Yeah, I think he was he was just like trying crazy stuff. I think he had more exaggeration. Now he's more realistic in what he does, which is masterful, but just the exaggeration and the cartooniness, that dial was turned up in this work. Yep. I really love this issue. Look at that. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we were fortunate in the sense that we were kind of coming out of, I think we missed it a little bit, but there were so many artists around the world that were just in the independent scene, right? With what you were saying, it's like with Judge Dredd and all of the stuff that Bolland was doing, that Bisley was doing, and then what was happening in Europe with Metal Hurlant, and then people were reading comics from all over the world, and gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, Otomo with Akira and Domu and all that other stuff happening. It just was this incredible time where you had good influences all around you.
Yeah.
And that made people bring it. Look at that. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. He's like playing with some great layouts and just in your face all the time. And this is kind of the feel, not that your Starship Trooper stuff felt like Quesada, but it had the same impact. And it was something about that period, that era, that was just like so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm working on Spring Ball, that's kind of a mindset that I'm having to put myself into, I mean, I naturally hang out in that mindset, but when I do Nosferatu, I really want to make sure that I still play with the layouts, but I want to make sure I'm doing something that feels a little bit more classical. So I paint a little bit more.
Yeah. For sure.
But when I do Spring Ball and I'm like doing hand lettering stuff, I'm just, let's go nuts. That's the fun part.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of, you'll appreciate this. Still in the back issue squalor. It's a Jason Pearson Batman.
Oh, Jason.
He didn't do this cover. This is a Jansen cover.
He was Stelfreeze always said he was the most incredibly gifted and natural talent he ever met. And he goes, you could give Jason one little bit of feedback and he'd come back with 7 or 8 things he figured out on his own on top of it. And you can see it there. Yeah. What a talent.
Yeah. I just love his, yesterday when I was streaming and drawing, on this Mobius stuff. And then, there was a new guy who came into my chat. His name is Da Potato, and he was really nice. But we got on the track of talking about Jason Pearson and the thick dragon that he drew, and just like looking at the body bags and dragon, all that stuff. Like, he was so good at the fundamentals of just good storytelling, but he just had such a flair to his stuff, which was really,
he's a natural.
Yeah, really amazing.
He was nice to me, when I met him, and he was he was the kind of person who was he wasn't going to run up and say hello to you. You know what I mean? And he would look you, he'd look you over and get a read on you.
Yeah.
But if he caught you being real and thought what you said had any kind of merit, he could give you a smile. And I was fortunate to get like one of those maybe. And because he was the kind of guy who just wanted to go in and work his tail off.
He had a
that
bean
was it.
burrito and had a little gas, gave you a smile.
Yeah, that's right. That's what happened. Yeah.
This was, I don't think that.
Those faces are great, man. Gosh.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's that, like, at least I know for my own work, it's that balance of realism and cartooniness and this, just how you turn the meter up and down. And Jason Pearson was one of those artists that could go really real, but he can also do super cartoony. And this is a little bit more cartoony, this style. I don't think he inked this. It's a different inker, but fun expressions. And a lot of character in all the, like, background dudes.
Yeah.
Like, Batman is not even in this story hardly ever. This is just about, I think this is Alfred, but then he hits you with that at the end.
So good.
Yeah. This guy's face.
Oh, man.
Really fun. Yeah, I just ran across this. The fun thing with all these, like, Legends of the Dark Knight books is, like, they write who are the artists on the front. So I was just flipping through and I'd look through each one and I'm like, oh, wait, Jason Pearson. Holy cow.
Yep. I love Jason, man. His stuff's great.
Have you ever heard of Tony Salmons?
I don't think so. I may have seen it before, but I don't know if I've heard of him.
He's kind of
I think I've seen this work, but I don't know him.
He's kind of this enigma that, of an artist, like, I've seen him do, like, spot issues here and there of stuff, but his style is so different.
Mm-hmm.
And again, somebody who just kind of attacks the page, like, just goes to 11 all the time. I think he looks at Kirby a lot, but his style doesn't look like Kirby, but cool stuff.
Yeah, it looks like Mignola and Nolan a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely some Mignola in there.
Nice.
Look at that page.
Yep. Beautiful.
It's really
great
loose.
Action.
Yeah, great action. He doesn't keep things on model at any. He's just like, whatever. Like, it's really expressive.
Yeah.
Look at that face. So simple.
Nice.
Like, that's like a Kirby thing right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot of impact and, like, dynamic anatomy. Yeah, I don't know much about him as an artist, but he never had, like, a regular gig on a book, even though he could have with his talent.
Yeah, I'm much more, it's funny too, when we look at comic stuff, I'm much more likely to pick something up if the art in it has something that is off, in a sense, like something that's not too perfect, if it's just got a flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird when you're going through these books, that's the first thing I respond to. It's not perfectly competent draftsmanship, it's a little bit of flair. And that's, with, you can only, like, even with painted stuff, man, it's like, realism isn't the number one thing I'm ever going for. Obviously, it's just you're going for color and play. People always will comment on that, and I look at this and I'm just like, man, it feels like comics. Look at that, it's nice.
Yeah. There's so many artists right now that are on regular books that are like solid, competent artists, but it's just like, it's boring. It's like, all right, cool. That's good, but it's like it's not exciting, and so when you see, like, really unique voices like this, even if it's a one shot, it's like, holy moly. Yeah.
That's why I like AI art, I think, because AI is going to learn the same thing that we all learned, and it has every right to be just as miserable. which is to say, you look at it and you forget it instantly.
Yeah.
It's a brutal aspect. Like, it's so correct, it doesn't make a sound.
Right.
And being wrong in an interesting way is one of the most difficult things in the world, and it's not something you can calibrate. It's so ridiculous, it makes no sense.
I remember listening to the philosopher Tyra Banks.
Yes, sir.
You with me? But basically, it was like,
I can't even. Go ahead.
She was basically saying, like, the modeling industry, like, it wasn't about people who were like the most symmetrical, perfect faces. Those weren't the people that were like superstars. It was the people that had the weird, slightly off, weird faces, the like, asymmetry, the like bug eyes, the like odd, anatomy or whatever, long necks and stuff. And those are the people that like are memorable, like Cindy Crawford, right, with her mole on her face. People would have called that an imperfection, but she turned that into her signature look, and nobody could replicate that.
Yeah, nobody could, and nobody has.
Yeah,
look at that Badger. Holy cow, that's going back.
Look at that,
Mike Barron, my man.
The Panda Brothers,
man, Mike Barron.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember the Panda Brothers. Yeah, man.
And they had a long run on Grendel, which I loved. I have that omnibus. I haven't actually read it recently, but I bought it because I love their work in it. But I thought this was so crazy because they just went nuts in this. I don't even know that much about Badger. He seems like a jerk, right? He's kind of like a weirdo character.
I've never read a lot of Badger. I gotta be honest with you. I know that Vigil did a short little bit on. I think you even grabbed a copy of it. And it certainly was a book that a lot of people worked on, but I think chiefly Mike Barron is the reason people know it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Barron's for sure the force behind Badger, and all these different artists work on it. But this weird, kind of crazy, somewhat like feels Peter Chung-ish. I always feel like the Panda Brothers have some sort of Peter Chung influence. Weird exaggeration But yeah, this was one of those that I found in the back issues. It was weird stuff. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's funny too. Like, again, for those of you guys who are tuning in to the show and regularly and watching Rocky, we talk about this is exactly what this person's actually like, which is such a weird thing to say, but it's the truth. And with you, it's like I would come out to go and visit you in San Francisco, and we go to Green Apple. Was it Green Apple Books?
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And we would just dig through books, and it was almost like recharging my love of comics. And I think it's important to maintain some kind of love of comics or books and art and fiction when you're doing it. It's so important because it's so easy to get burnt out and get in your own head and overanalyze. It's crazy.
You got to remember what like excited you, like brought you back to being a 10-year-old kid, and why you picked up the book, and and sure, your tastes change and evolve as you grow up, but there's something there, something intangible that you just got to go back and look. I think that's part of the danger of comics, is because then you just start collecting. You're like, oh yeah, I remember when like that Darker Image. I know I have copies of that, but I'm like, oh, I gotta get it because I gotta like keep looking through it and get excited by it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna wrap up pretty soon here, but I did want to pull out this. Look at this Mike Zeck Batman. Mike Zeck. Everybody knows how much I love Mike Zeck, and it's awesome because this style of Mike Zeck is pretty different from when he was doing on Punisher. It's a little bit more simplified, but it's still as dynamic and just all out like brutal as his earlier stuff.
Yeah. And I know he's retired now, even from commissions. He's like, I'm enjoying being retired. I live in Hawaii, # living my best life. And I am, he didn't say that bit, but he's there. And you just, these guys are special. the ones that can do this kind of stuff. Zek is. I never get tired of looking at Zek art. Doesn't matter when it is. He's just excellent. He is so excellent at what he does.
Silky Smooth Sounds, Ballesteros. Saw the Slurm can. I have one. It has a deck of Futurama playing cards inside.
Nice. Whew, look at that.
It's great. It's so different from, I mean, this is almost like Batman Year One simplification right here, but it's got that Zek, like, solid anatomy.
Wow.
Something, Zek loves prisons, man. He's always drawing prison scenes.
I really think they go, we got a prison scene. Get me Zek on the phone. Like
Zek. That guy can draw prisons.
Yeah. He can draw a prison, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I look at this kind of stuff and it's like Zek is just one of those guys. Like, I think that for me, watching you do the master studies and the master copies and all whatever, you know, we call it, it's like, which is insanity in a good sense. When I watch you do it, because it's so challenging unless you love it. Like, it's challenging still when you love it, but that's what makes you do it, you know? Yeah. And it's great watching you draw, because I think that when we work digital for any long period of time, we forget how good we are at drawing, and that drawing gives us something different. You know, because I'm working in digital on Spring Ball, and I can tell you it's all fine and good. I really enjoyed it. It works for what that book is, and it's the right way to rework that book in a sense. But even painting on Nosfero and painting on my commissions isn't the same thing as me working on a canvas, which I'm doing right now for Lloyd Burton, and I'm doing you know, for myself, I'm doing a Frankenstein painting right now. And it's just, there's something about it. We're artists and we got to do that stuff.
Yeah. There's something about that tech. The more I've been doing the master study and the more I've just been working traditionally, it's like, this is the right direction for me. It is like, I have no desire, at least right now in this moment in my career, to like spend a lot of time drawing stuff digitally. It's like, I just want to fight with the paper. I want to fight with the tools. I want to spill the ink. I want to smudge the stuff. I want to like figure out how to make this mark with this certain kind of nib. Like, all that kind of stuff just gets me really excited about art. And digital gives us a lot of tools, a lot of flexibility. But it for me, it kind of drains something out of me a little. So at least for comics,
It's the best part of I mean, this is what's so cool about our space. You obviously.
Oh, I lost you a bit, Shant.
For folks here, and but the age range here is much broader, and you can talk about things like that. Like, the coolest thing about life is that if you're fortunate enough to live for a while, and I mean that like sincerely, like I'm grateful for it every single day. You go through phases they're all different. It shouldn't be the same thing, where you learn things, you change, and then you get to a point where you're trying to make, cheers, Antoine Dennison, the professor in the house.
What's up,
when
Antoine?
you get to a certain point, you know, where you're like, these things don't matter, but you don't want them to not matter when you're too young. You get what I mean? Like, you want to try to learn it all. You want to try to do all of this kind of stuff, and you want to learn for a lifetime.
Yeah.
But you know, it's you get to the point where you're like, I'm going to work traditionally. That's what I want to do. That's my time right now.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Let me just do something here really quick. I'm going to wrap up soon, guys. There was other back issues. I'll save them for other time. There's too many. There's only a few more, but there's too many still. We've gone through a lot, and it was awesome having Shanth here. Let me just... I can't...
And thanks for having me on, dude. Always fun.
Yeah. No, I love it. How do I change that? I can't do that. All right, I'm not going to do that then. Here's more Boomer stuff. So I'll just do... Back to live. I think it's so weird to like end on this tiny, tiny screens of us. So I'm going to just make you larger live like this.
No.
Yes. I'm going to do this.
Stop. Oh, Lordy. No.
Oh, no. See?
Hello.
We can touch now.
Oh, no. That's terrifying, man. I know what it. High five.
Oh, no.
Dyslexia helped life so much. There you go.
Wait, okay. I'm going to center that. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, there we are.
There we go. But this is a little bigger here.
Yep.
All right, cool. See? But it's weird because I can still put my hands behind. That's weird. I just won't.
This is exactly what it was like in college. This is exactly no change.
Okay. Emo Trash says, thanks for having Shanth. He made an easy enough, quick homework assignment.
There it is.
LOL. Mark's Music Obsessions is Spring Ball on the next back issues with Ballesteros. Back issues with Ballesteros. That's right. We can go through it. We can go through it panel by panel. Can talk about. Oh, I mean, no, I won't do that. Wait. No, I will.
What?
Hang on. Can I undo what I just did? Oh no, I
think you hit Command Z.
All right.
That's creepy.
That is creepy. But before I wrap up, okay, remember I showed these, right?
Oh, geez.
Can I show? And then I showed this, right? So good.
Which one? Yes, you showed that one.
Yes.
I can't believe you have any of this
All right.
stuff.
Here's the other stuff I didn't show. This is a great way to end a stream. Oh my gosh, Sean. Oh, I love this. I love this paper. Do you remember this?
Oh my God, you have that? I've always wondered what happened to that page. Is that the original?
This is the original pencils.
Dude, I was just.
I can mail it back to you. I can mail it back to you.
No, I have photocopies of it. I don't need it. It's gonna, dude. It lived this long because you had it.
Yes. This
It'd
beautiful.
be destroyed if I had it. I've got too much stuff. Yeah, that was me. Guys. This is how long the Mooka thing has been going on.
Let me see if I can.
And Antoine, I put the link for the T-shirts in the description there if you want to get a Nosfero shirt. But yeah, they're in TeePublic. But it's that was me doing the guy with his hand out, melting the face. That was based on Gary Oldman in The Professional. I was doing tons of stuff like that. The monster character who's shooting the eye beams was based on the Mangalores from Fifth Element because I was just really into Luc Besson at that time.
Mm-hmm. This was like existing characters, right? Weren't they Wildstorm characters?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I forgot.
Those are the ones I showed to Mark Chiarello. That was a part of the batch where he goes, "It's rare, it's unusual." I was like, what, 21, I think, maybe. He's like, "It's unusual to see a person with this level of draftsmanship at your age. When you get out of college, give me a call, I'll give you work." Where does it go?
Bastard.
I know, man. But here's the thing, man. Well, so here's the problem with that. So he's friends with Stelfreeze and with my brother Nick. So like everybody, like it's such a small world. Now you go, "Hey, you remember that?" And they're like, "For you, it was the greatest day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday."
Yeah.
I still have that card somewhere he gave me, man.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, this is.
But yeah,
awesome.
I was good, man.
And for you guys, you know the insanity that is Shanth Enjeti. He designed this template for this paper and bought this blank Bristol and had this template
3-ply
printed on it and printed a whole bunch of it for himself to work on. So this was like custom Enjeti comic book Bristol.
That's right.
And it's where'd my ruler go?
It's a little smaller than full size.
It's 9 by like 13 and 3/4. Well, almost 9 by 14.
I did a full size 11 by 17s of it, which Spring Ball I think was drawn on. And then I did that, but the truth be told is that oh gosh, there you have these. Holy cow! You know why I'm so happy about this? I thought I threw these away.
No, man.
No, that's great.
Or
No,
maybe
I'm
you
glad they
did.
exist.
Maybe you did, and I like sifted through your garbage.
Well, no, what would typically happen is, and yeah, Antoine, Mark Chiarello was actually laid off from DC Comics, I think, a year or two ago. And I think he's doing okay. I think he's doing stuff. But yeah, I remember I heard that and I thought, you do not, like, losing that guy, he's irreplaceable. He's such a brilliant artist and editor.
He's doing an issue of the Batman Last Halloween. He's doing an issue of that, I think, which is
I'm sure he's working still, and doing things.
All right. One more of these original pencils.
I cannot believe these things are still around. I'm thrilled that you have them. Yep, I remember this one. Yep.
I love
Wow,
this one.
man, my Muka was off the chain. Like,
this is Backlash, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then I love the reference to
Metropolis.
Yeah, her whatever her armor.
That's me making a goofy face for that center panel. I was using myself for reference.
Yeah.
And aging myself and dragging my face out. And but it was fun because, we just worked like crazy. We just, gosh, man, all the work I did, and I think about this a lot, like the work I did to, one, get better, and two, just to hope for a chance to get the job.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I'm so grateful to Comicsgate for and to crowdfunding for and all of this stuff is that, good God, guys, this is what you're seeing right here is work that couldn't get you in the door back then because the industry was collapsing. So even if people liked your stuff, now that I know the inside stories of it, like that they were saying, if you live on like Ethan tells this story that at DC, if there was, and that's where I was applying. If you had an office with sunlight that came to it, you weren't allowed to use your lights because they couldn't afford the electric bill. Like, that's where they were when we were trying to break in. So it didn't matter, you would show great work and things just wouldn't happen. And if you didn't live nearby, it's like it was really tough, and people will look at this stuff and now I can go straight to the audience and I can go, here's my stuff.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing
It's
about
life-changing.
right now. Yeah, totally. Because it's like if you could walk. The reason why this didn't get you a job has nothing to do with how cool or how competent this artwork was. It has everything to do with all the stuff that has nothing to do with making comics. Like making
what's so funny is I can't overstate this, guys. For me at the time, I never thought those thoughts I'm sharing right now. I always thought I'm just not good enough. If I was only better, I never thought, there's this big conspiracy to keep me out. My brain never went there, but it was disheartening.
Yeah, of course. And I can't imagine how many artists it was like that for. Not just you, but like how many artists faced the same exact thing that were talented as well, that had the door shut in their face just because of reasons that, were out of their control. It's like messed up. So the idea that now we can go directly to an audience and entertain an audience one-on-one, or connect with them one-on-one, that's powerful. That's really powerful for an independent artist.
Are there dates on those out of curiosity? Because I know those were done my senior year, so I'm thinking
there's no date.
I was 20 when I did those, I think, or 21. Yeah, 21 when I did those, I think.
I love that face so much.
Isn't that crazy, though? Like, I look at this and I go, at 21. And again, guys, this is the wild thing is that and my girlfriend, now wife at the time, was with me in New York when I showed the portfolio. And Mark looked at me and said it was not about quality. He goes, it is unusual to see this level of draftsmanship in someone your age. And that was both a wonderful thing to hear. And I remember being on cloud nine. I'm like, I did it. I'm going to have a career when I get out of here.
Right.
I know you've been through so many of these, Rock. Like, it breaks your heart because you were there for so many of them, man.
Yeah.
It's like people just, I that's why I tell people this, that if you're fortunate enough to come into this space, put your work out there and have huge success, please appreciate it and understand it. Because we don't have trouble with that kind of thing at all, because we're at the point to where, we're decades into this stuff. But I mean, I look at me at 20 something years old and I go, I would have just given everything. I was giving everything to try to get in,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think that's the attitude that I never lost. Like, if you're still doing it at this age, like we are, no, I'm just being real. Like, think of the places we've worked, the jobs we've had, whether it's, DreamWorks. I think both of us, me through Consumer Products, I think you've done something for them, or you've worked for Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
You've worked for, like, we've had crazy careers. We've met a lot of people. We've done all this kind of stuff. But we've never lost that drive to do our own stuff. And that's just in us. We work hard.
I think I have lost that drive every now and then, but what I'm now rediscovering...
Yeah, and you sent me an unfortunate text. I remember very, very well. Would you like to share with the class what you had the audacity to text me as we are almost 50 at this point?
What did you say? You're like, how are you doing or something? I said, oh, I'm dying.
I said, hey, man, how's it going? And I want to find that at some point. And you texted me back, I'm dying. And with all the stuff going on in my life, I went, oh, my God. Like, what? And you went, no, at work. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you. Because I thought, you're like, it's spread. Like, I'm waiting for you to give me, you know what I mean? It's stage 3. I mean, my heart just sank.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
that was
horrible.
an unfortunate response. Yeah. I wasn't quite thinking that one through.
Oh, God.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
It was,
but going back to what we were saying,
I know, Mark.
I have lost that inspiration sometimes, and that's why I think I'm rediscovering it with looking at comics and getting excited, doing what I'm just saying, what I just said to do is like just getting reigniting that passion of what got me so excited about comics from the beginning when I was a kid, and finding that again, and then now injecting it into what I'm doing here on YouTube for my own stuff and eventually my own book, all that kind of stuff. You have to find it. You have to seek it out. You can't expect the world to hand you the career, the book, the job. You just gotta do it yourself. You gotta really just do it yourself. This.
Because you can see my silly face right there. But this is me with my brother Nick.
Oh, that's Nick, yeah.
Hanging out at the studio. And Nick is 63 years old. And he knows Maya, ZBrush, the Unreal Engine, every bit of software and coding you can think of. And it's strange, but you know what, Mark, and all of you guys, and Antoine, I feel like I've waited my entire life and worked my butt off to meet cool people in the right age demos. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. It is actually, it's funny. I remember because when Rock told me what was up and that he was just feeling kind of down, I was like, our whole relationship, and we've done this for each other plenty of times, was let's go, let's do something. But you can't make somebody do that. They have to be wanting to hear that and then ready to rock, no pun intended. And you built this stuff out and you're like, I'm going to learn how to do this terrifying thing, and I'm going to be committed to it, and I'm going to schedule. I know how to do this. I have so many skills. I know how to do this. And that's why we are where we are, man. We do it because we love it, you know?
Emo Trash says, LMAO, if something else didn't take Rocky out, Shanth was going to.
That's right.
That's right.
I was dangerously close.
I didn't realize it until...
Dude, you gotta just think about where other people could be.
That's right. You got to read out
what I mean?
The text that you send. You got to tell that to my kids. You got to read first before you hit send.
You got to just think of how it sounds. You know,
Yes.
It's like your kids, once they're of driving age, they can't say, I had an accident. And it's about the fact they spilled ink on their desk.
Right.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't call your parents at 3 a.m. and go, Mom? Well, yeah? Did you call me? Like, because we're thinking...
What's up, Adam? Good to see you.
This is
What's
Adam.
up?
Hey.
How you doing, man? We're just wrapping up here. Went through some books today. I talked about Absolute Wonder Woman today, Adam. You were asking about that couple weeks ago. But yeah, I went through Absolute Wonder Woman today. I might do a closer look on that. We'll see. We will see. It's a time thing for me, but it's worth looking deeper. It's not a slam dunk for me like Absolute Batman was, but there's some good stuff going on in there. So I'm intrigued for sure. Let me just make sure there was one question. Oh, Antoine Dennison says, what printer do you use for your blue lines? It is the very, very expensive printer of Kinko's. I just printed out
I
a
use
Kinko's.
Pop Copy.
What's that? What did you say?
I use Pop Copy.
Pop Copy
From the Chappelle Show. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm able to bring my files there, and because they have a large format printer, just print it. I bring my own Bristol, and then I print it out on the Bristol there, and it's worked out great. I think eventually I will invest in a larger format printer. You have one, right, Sean? The Epson.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, I have a large format Epson scanner and printer because, Photoshop didn't have photo merge as well as it does now, or I would have gotten a smaller scanner and just merged the stuff.
Oh, I see.
Because it would have saved me a lot of money. But it's like, yeah, I have a large format printer and scanner, but I think Kinko's works better. I'm not joking. Because the ink on Epson's temperamental if you hit it with water or anything.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. And that's part of the thing I'm learning with the master studies. It's just that process. Like, what are the steps to get the blue lines, to scan it in properly, to get it printed out properly. So it's been working okay. And the Kinko's is like literally a couple minutes from my house. So I'm just going to stick with that until I find a better way. Adam says, my Absolute books are all currently in the mail. Awesome. Yeah, I picked up Absolute Superman #1 today, and I'm like, I'm kind of meh on it. I haven't read it, but it didn't excite me as much as Batman or Wonder Woman, but we'll see. I'll read it later and let you know. Mark's Music Obsession says, this page is great. I love this.
Thank you,
I
sir.
want to mail it back to you so you can just finish it. It's beautiful. You did this all with
It'll
brush,
never come
right?
back in the good condition it is. You better fly me out and have me do it there.
You did this
Make me wear white gloves.
You did this with brush, right?
I think so. Yeah.
The lines are so thin on this, like especially here.
Yeah, I was. You know this, man.
Yes.
It's like I always looked at stuff that was absolutely mind blowing to me and thought, I'm not good enough. I got to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The best sense, when I was looking, I'm sure I was looking at Kevin Nolan when I was doing those inks, because I was thinking, how does he get these thin lines and then have these shadows? Like things just would roll into shadow with Nolan, and they had no right doing that.
Yeah.
Because they would be hard edges.
Yeah.
And just the idea of, and there's, who else is in there? There's total
thin.
Travis Charest.
Yeah, look how
in
thin
there.
that is.
100%.
Or Charest, however you want to.
Yeah, of course. No, a Travis Cherry. That's his name. He just made fun of us all. Yeah, and who else? Mobius, of course, is in there, in the kind of nonsensical lines.
Beautiful.
That I used to do back then.
I love that. I think this is the coolest that glove has ever looked for me. The big Spawn glove.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, now that's it. Now that we've gone down that Shanth memory lane, that's it. But I have these pages, man. If you ever want them back, I have them in the Rocky Archives. Nope.
Are you calling me an Indian giver?
Wait, that deserves.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry. My humor and my silliness, one day they will come and euthanize me. They will finish the job. Get me out of here.
Adam says spotting blacks is the hump you have to get over to become a master.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. All right, guys. This was awesome. Sean, thanks for joining me. It was the added caffeine boost that I needed without actually taking caffeine. Because I was
Thanks
up
for
late.
having me, man.
I was up late drawing and also watching election stuff. So good times.
Was there an election?
See you later, everybody.